Hi there, I'm Chie and welcome to my channel. Today I'm taking you with me for a dip pen and ink with watercolor painting of the beautiful Château de Blois here in France. The architecture is a perfect mix of French Renaissance, medieval structures and a hint of Gothic drama. So grab your sketchbook, ink and watercolor and let's get started. As usual, I started with the light pencil sketch, just enough to place the big shapes and make sure the proportions don't run off the page like they sometimes love to do. Once I'm happy with the proportions and the perspective of the sketch, I started with dip pen inking. When I'm sketching architecture like this, I always start by simplifying the big shapes before worrying about the details, because the foundation makes everything else easier. I also let my lines wobble a little as it gives the drawing so much more personality and character. And honestly, you don't really need to capture every single window of the building, as no one will notice. In the end, a light wash of watercolor ties everything together beautifully and brings the whole piece to life. Before we get too deep into the sketch, here's a little history about the Château de Blois because this place has stories layered in every stone. This chateau was actually the residence of several French kings and it's famous for its mix of medieval, Gothic Renaissance and classical architecture all in one complex. One of the most iconic features is the François No. 1 spiral staircase, which looks like something straight out of a fantasy novel. This makes it an interesting subject for urban sketching, especially pen and ink drawing where the details really shine. Once the ink is dry, it's time for watercolor. I love how the ink lines keeps all the character and history of the building, while the watercolor gives it that soft, atmospheric French feeling. And here's the finished pen and watercolor painting of Chateau de Blois. If you enjoyed this pen and ink with watercolor process, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and let me know which chateau or historical buildings I should sketch next. Thank you for painting with me today, and I will see you in the next video.